All right, good evening. Greet everyone to our November 18th County Commissioners meeting. Let us all stand. Father, Lord, we come this evening just thanking you, Father, for your grace and mercy, goodness, grace, and blessings. And blessing us, Lord, to be able to come out tonight to conduct the business of the county. Lord, we thank you for our nation, our state, and our county, and the democratic process that we have of governing our people. We thank you for all the citizens that are present. And we ask you to bless this meeting, that we'll go in a way that you would have it. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, the first item on our agenda would be the agenda adjustments, if there are any. You have the agenda before you. Are there any additions? Would like to add one item on the closed session, item 10, that we will go into closed session in accordance with North Carolina General Statute 143, 318, 11A6. Personnel. There are no other adjustments. We'll entertain a motion to accept the agenda as modified.
So moved. Second.
There's a motion second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Nay. All right. The first item on our agenda would be our citizens' comments. I believe Mr. Chuck Brother.
Thank you, Commissioner Jordan, Commissioners, County Manager, citizens of the county. I wanted to revisit a subject that I brought up to the board probably 12 to 18 months ago, and at that time we had different faces on the board and we had different administrative leadership at the board. And what I had brought up was the need to look at the traffic in regards to Willerton Road from the Virginia-North Carolina state line to Parker Road. And I brought up the fact about how many times that the speed limit changed in that corridor from those 2 points. At that time, I think a directive was put forth to the county manager to network with whatever agency needed to be to see what could be done. In conversations there, shortly thereafter, I did have a conversation with Sergeant Michael Warren and said that he had got some type of information down that they were going to do a traffic study. Where or not that wound up happening or not, I know that the traffic is no better than it was and the speed limit has not been changed. And the reason I bring this up is it's that time of the year, and Commissioner Jernigan can certainly vouch for this. We've got a huge issue on that road with residential traffic trying to partner with agricultural traffic, school buses, and large truck traffic. And there's absolutely no reason why we should change the speed limits on that road as many times as they've changed. And I'm speaking from prime an example. There is no regard to the large agricultural traffic by the traveling public that I see on that road in regards to helping yield. If it wasn't for some of the wide shoulders there, and I think Commissioner Jernigan's son can attest to the fact that a combine will go in the ditch because the car won't get out of your way, and he was doing all he could do. But saying all that to say this, and I've expressed this to Sergeant Warren a couple times, the speed limit on that road is 200. too high for what it is, and I know that Highway Patrol has set up the times at Savage's Church and run radar. But, and I'm going to reference it as the bumblebee cars, the little low rider 4-cylinder cars that's got the very obnoxious exhaust. They have absolutely no regard for any traffic on that road, and they'll pass you on the shoulder, whether it's a piece of farm equipment or whether it's a school bus, and I've seen both. But the problem is not the road. The problem is the people that are traveling the road, and the problem with the road is the artery that feeds the road, which comes out of the city of Suffolk. That is a major thoroughfare off of US 13 at what was Suffolk Forest Products and the Public Works facility that comes off at Great Fork Road, which in turn feeds Willerton Road. Both roads come together. They're really, I think, at this point in time, in regards to the pattern and the traffic that's on that road, whatever means it would take, I'd like to see the County of Gates have some conversation with the city of Suffolk in whatever department it would be, which that would be their Public Works department, I would guess. But I would really like to see some communication go forward with a no-through traffic, meaning heavy truck traffic on that road. And the only way you're going to be able to regulate it is partner with Suffolk on the Virginia side. We've got trucks that have got better roads to get to the southern end of Willerton Road than traveling the route they're coming. They can cross the state line and it's a straight shot on Page Riddick. If you go, and there again I'm going to pick on Commissioner Jernigan a little bit, from Black Mingle Road to Tip Store, the mailboxes are on top of the road. There is no shoulder, and there's a tremendous amount of residential population in there. And it's a fiasco waiting to happen. There's somebody that's going to misjudge something, whether it's a truck, whether it's a tractor, whether it's a combine, whether it's a sprayer, or whether it's a car, or whether it's a school bus. Somebody's going to misjudge something, and this could be a bad day. But I really think the speed limit needs to be addressed. I think that it may have been. I don't know where we're at on it, but I'd like to see the commissioners and the new administration look back into that, and I'd like to see it carry a step forward to help Gates County. And the fact that I'd like to see the county and the city partner together to see what we could do to curb the heavy truck traffic to having no through traffic. Suffolk has done this on some of the back roads in the southern part of Suffolk, mainly Pittmantown Road, where the log trucks were cutting through to get to Franklin. There's a no through truck policy there. And I really think Willerton Road needs to be included in that. But the only way you can regulate it is to partner with Suffolk to stop it on the Suffolk side. With that being said, I'll give you a classic example, and this was just last weekend of trying to move a piece of equipment of what the traffic pattern is from my road of Drum Hill Road until the time I got to Savage's Church. I pulled over 6 times with a piece of ag equipment, and I had 3 sections of vehicle, or 3 different patterns of vehicles that passed me that were in minimums of groups of 5, all going south. They weren't going north, they were going south. At some point in time, I guess they would go north. But that's what's going on. And this morning I saw a school bus. I mean, the traffic's really not yielding to the school bus traffic either. Whether they're reporting it or not, I don't know. But I think it's time for the county to step forward, and whoever needs to work with this, whether it's Highway Patrol, whether it's our Sheriff's Department, to get more presence on that road to slow this traffic down. But being in the public safety sector that I've been in for 32 years, there's already been one major wreck there at Drum Hill Road that I witnessed, and it was a UPS truck and a private vehicle, and it wasn't pretty. And it was all due to speed, and it was all due to lack of familiarity with the region, and the guy ran the stop sign. So it's a growing problem, and I'd like to see the county step forward and do what it takes to get something put in place of some means. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, just one question, Chuck. What is the speed limit on that road? It varies, you said, how many times, or just what is the general speed limit?
Well,
when you come out of Virginia, Great Fork Road is 45 mile an hour all the way until you get to the 500, about 500 Great Fork Road, about the 500 block, and then it drops down to 35 from there to Great Fork in 13. So from the state line to on the north side of the intersection, it stays 45. The 45 doesn't even go through the intersection of Drum Hill and Wilton. And then it changes again at the somewhere around the water tower. Isn't that right, Ken?
I've been up there this week. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I think it changed somewhere
We
around.
were actually up there picking beans this week. I don't know if you call me being run off the road or the other guy got run off the road. But he came around me and
Yeah.
you know, I'm driving a great big piece of equipment.
Yeah.
And like you say, he went on the shoulder of the road,
Yeah.
come around me and didn't hardly slow down.
I think it
So
changes.
I know
Some,
exactly what you're talking about.
I think it changes at Black Mingle somewhere along in there, and then it goes back to 55 on the south side of Abundant Hope Church, and then it changes again at Willerton and Gates Bank Road, and then I think it goes from 45 up until within a mile and a half of Parker Road and Willerton Road.
I will say that when I was up there earlier one afternoon this past week, it was after dark when we left, and there were 2 highway patrolmen up there sitting at the water tank.
Yeah.
I never did see them pull anybody. I don't know if they were just having a personal conversation or what, but they were sitting there with their lights off and people were going around.
Well, I do know that I've had conversations with Michael when somebody's passed me like he did, and I pick up the phone and call Mike, and within, one occasion, within an hour or 2, I saw a highway patrolman up there. You know, that's after the fact, but, you know, the problem is the amount of traffic that road is trying to handle, and what else it's got to accompany along with it, what it's got to partner with. And everybody's got a job to do. They're either going to a job or they're going to a job. And I don't think anybody, including the Millers or Mallory Buck, Matt Jackson, myself, Robbie Onflet, I don't think we would want to be in a position where we've got a high piece of equipment, dollar valued equipment in the road, and we've done all we can do, and somebody with no regard to it plows into the side of it, and you're all but in the ditch trying to get out of the way. I mean, the equipment's big, we can't get around that, but I've seen them pass the school buses too. So I'm just not gonna pick on the ag equipment and say we need to help. It's the whole gamut, it's the whole situation.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask a question? Is there a weight limit on the road at any wire truck?
If it is, it's not posted, but most of the time, I think what we see with the trucks is probably people that live down in there that are commuting back and forth, you know, using that corridor for back and forth. But I'm sure there is a weight limit to it. You know what it is, I wouldn't know that. I think the only posted weight limit I've seen is on the bridge close to Parker Road. I think that's 25 tons.
All right. I think, John, we probably will want to get with the North Carolina Department of Transportation and see if we need to do a traffic study as well as take a look at it and also see how it would affect Virginia and try to have that conversation as well. Maybe we can get back with us on something on that. We do have an CDOT rep here. All right, very good, very good. All right, Mr. Sidney Pierce.
Good evening, Commissioners. I just have a couple of announcements on behalf of the Gates County Republican Party. The primaries will be coming up here in a few short months, and we as a party just went ahead and made a couple of endorsements to a couple of our candidates who are already running. Our chairman and vice chairman recused themselves from the vote, so this is a vote by just the body. And we endorsed by unanimous vote Senator Bill Cook, when he runs for re-election this next year here. We were very happy and thrilled to see him work with us on local and state issues, and we're looking forward to continue working with him and on his re-election campaign. We also discussed the United States Senator race. We discussed all the candidates running, at least on the Republican side that is, and we came up to the conclusion that the most qualified candidate so far in the race is Dr. Greg Brannon. We fully endorsed him and his candidacy, and we do encourage all Republicans in the primary to vote for him. That is all we have at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thomas Hill.
Ladies and gentlemen, County Manager, County Commissioners, very quickly, just three very quick things here. Mr. Felton, I want to congratulate you, sir, to your new position within the county, and we Republicans look forward to working with you. Throughout this year, the motto has been bipartisan. We look to the old courthouse being renovated as a bipartisan project. We look to the challenges that was made on June 5th of this year from Mr. Owens and Mr. Jernigan. And we certainly appreciate Mr. Jernigan having his ear for us. So we greatly appreciate him. To you, sir, we also extend the same courtesy and a challenge for a cup of coffee, my dime, anywhere within the county, and with your earliest convenience is fine. I will make my schedule to fit yours with no problem. My phone number is public record. Feel free to give me a call day or night. Yes, sir. The second thing is the Gates County Republican endorsements. It is according to the state plan of winterization within the Republican Party that no executive member can vote for endorsements. However, let it be well known and well said that I stand beside my party. I will go to bat for them as the first county to endorse a candidate. And we look forward to those primaries pulling through. And that is all. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Our next item on our agenda will be our announced delegations. Mr. Steve Lambert with the RPO bike plan presentation. Mike,
It's Gretchen Byram, Mr. Chairman.
all right, I'm gonna have
I'm
it.
not Steve.
Are you with the Alabama Commissioner?
No,
Okay.
I'm filling in. Steve Lambert left the Albemarle RPO, and before he left, well, he went to the city of Chesapeake to accept another position, but before he left, he kindly asked if I could present tonight as well as some others, and I liked him, so I said, yeah. So, I have some, if y'all want to pass these around, so y'all can follow along. Here is a copy of the Albemarle Regional Bike Plan. It's very in-depth and thorough. I promise you I won't keep you here from 10 o'clock tonight going over this in great detail. I assume y'all seen this.
We have a
You
abbreviated
have
copy.
a copy of it? Well, I was included on the steering committee for this plan, as well as representatives from every county and the municipalities. Also, the state parks are represented. And what I want to first start to go over is exactly what we're going to talk about tonight. An outline. The first page is an outline of what we're going to discuss, what this actual plan includes, which is a work program update, which is the process of the actual plan. Final plan summary highlights some of the focus areas and the results and the next steps. Now that we have this plan, where do we go from here? The work program, as I said before, is the regional bike plan. And This page shows a list of tasks that were to be accomplished that was set forth by the steering committee. We had a project kickoff meeting. Existing condition analysis was performed, included public involvement, draft regional bicycle network, bicycle design guidelines, implementation plan, and funding strategies, comprehensive draft regional bicycle plan, review of our clients, and the final bicycle plan presentations, which is what I'm doing today. They're in the process of determining branding logos and developing a regional map. With the public input, there were several different avenues that were used. We had a project website, which is at the lower left corner of the page. Also a Facebook page for the bike plan. And a representative attend various public events. And on the next page is a list of all those public events: the Lucas City Farmers Market, the Outer Banks Seafood Festival, the Scuppernong Festival, Potato Festival, Engelhard Seafood Festival, and the Dare Days in Manio. The next page is a list of items that are included in the plan summary. These are the chapters of the plan: the introduction, the existing conditions, needs assessment, infrastructure recommendations, priority projects, policies and programs, implementation, and appendices. And I'm going to go touch on some of these items in the presentation. First chapter, introduction. You will see a map of the 10-county area on this page. It was divided up into 3 sections: the north of the Sound, which included Camden, Currituck Mainland, Gates, Shoreline, Pasquotank, and Clemens. And then south of the Sound included Washington, Terrell, Hyde Mainland, and Dare Mainland. And the Outer Banks included Currituck, Outer Banks, Dare, and Hyde. And you see there's this RPO covers a very big area with 10 counties. The next page discusses the goals and objectives. I'll briefly run down the goals of the program. Increase the quality of bicycling throughout the region, improve health outcomes in the region, improve safety for all cyclists, increase bicycling trips by residents and visitors, promote and encourage growth in tourism economy. And to the right is objectives related to those specific goals. The next page discusses the types of bicyclists. You have the strong and fearless, which represents about 1% of the population. These bicyclists ride anywhere on the roadway, regardless of condition. It can be pouring down rain and then they'll still be riding, and they typically use the roadway. And then the enthused and confident. These are fairly comfortable riding on all types of bikeways, but usually choose a low traffic volume or multi-use paths. They are generally commuters and recreation racers. The next is interested but concerned, which represents the majority of the population. These cyclists typically only ride on low traffic volume road and under favorable conditions. And then there's the no way, no how. Not a bicyclist and perceives severe safety issues with riding and traffic. And one of us should be in one of those categories. The existing conditions. With the 10-county area, there's a variety of different land uses and land. You go from the beach to the Outer Banks to farmland in Gates County, and then you have little quaint township of Edenton. I'm going to briefly go over each one of these pictures and explain what they are. First is the natural. It's the unaltered state. It's your forest and swamps. Farmland is characterized by growing crops and livestock. The hamlet, that's a small cluster of buildings that feature residential or agricultural land uses. the transition between the hamlet and farmland are almost immediate. An example of that would be Fairfield and Hyde County. The village it maintains a small, irregular network of streets connecting a cluster of homes, and it has limited retail and other small businesses, parks, and a place of worship. An example of that would be in Windfall. A town is typically located along the Albemarle Sound, feature a regular grid of streets and a wide variety of land uses. And that would be an example of that would be Eaton. A city is very cultural, governmental, commercial, and educational centers, and it features the highest diversity. An example of that is Elizabeth City. And the Beach District, an example of that is Nags Head. There's large swaths of land dedicated to a single purpose, which is beach and tourism. With the study or development of the plan, an equity analysis had to be performed. The goal of this plan is to recommend a course of action that will benefit every resident. And so they did the consultants did an analysis, and the score that shows the areas highlighted on the map with the various orangey reddish colors, that represented a composite score that included race, vehicle availability, income, and English fluency. And you can see the majority of Gates County is the darker colors, so we want to try to reach those people as well, those categories. And the next slide shows crash density, reported crashes. I'm sure there's a lot that occurred that were not reported. The blue dots on the map are bicycle crashes, and the red dots are fatalities. Fortunately, there hasn't been any fatalities in Gates County, but you can see there's a trend. If you look, just to point out, there's a trend along the Outer Banks that there's a lot of traffic down there, a lot of non-English speaking people that come down there too. So the occurrence of that was predominantly during the summer months. The next slide, prior to determining our needs, what do we have to do? We have to see what we have, and if you look at the area of Gates, we have an existing designated state and regional bike route that's in the pink color. Throughout the 10-county area, there is 26 miles of designated route, 2 miles bike lane, 66 miles of multi-use trail, 146 miles of paved shoulder, and that represents the whole area. So that's the existing conditions. With the needs assessment on the next slide, we looked at existing facilities and amenities, opportunities, barriers that may be there, bicyclist activity and behavior. If you look at that picture on the bottom right, you may recognize Lulu there trying to point out something that we need to include in the plan. I recommend a network. Examples of the recommended facilities are here. Signed routes, sharrows, which sharrows are the little bicycle symbol is shown in that picture with a little man on it without the line and the arrow. Bike boulevard, paved shoulder, bike lanes, buffered bike lanes, cycle track, and multi-use facilities. The next page, which is probably hard for y'all to see, but it's pretty clear in the plan, shows the recommended improvements in Gates County and Gatesville. I'll just point out, because it's probably hard to read, that the dashed area on the map, part of it goes down 137 and 158, and then there's a loop that takes Medical Center Road, Gates Banks Road, and then back to 37 through Gates. And then the eastern portion, there's a dash line that goes from Virginia to, from 32 and Folly Road, and then down Acorn Hill, and turns back around and comes back towards 158. Most of that is the hatch marks, the orange is paved shoulders. That's their recommendations for those routes. If you look very closely, you can see coming through Gatesville, from Gatesville to Honey Pot Road, and Honey Pot Road connects to Mill Pond. They are recommending a greenway through there, or a separated trail. Also in Gatesville, which I'll talk about a little bit further on the next page, what DOT has recently paved and resurfaced in the last couple of years, they're recommending that there be some improvements there, add additional bike lanes. Also in Sunbury, and you definitely can't see it on this map, but from along 32, just through Sunbury, they indicate a striped bike way. Some of the methodology that was developed, y'all have to excuse me, I keep drinking some water so I don't get dry. It was based, the recommendation criteria was based on public input through the online comment form and existing conditions that was seen throughout each of the counties. The criteria that was involved in the selection was it provides access to school, provides access to residential area, a higher density residential, provides access to commercial, to parks, to connect to existing trail, and so on. There's a few others there that I won't go into detail, but those touch on the major ones. The next page is entitled Demonstration Projects. This was a list, this was about 20 projects that the consultant picked, and there's at least one in every county. It's based on the weighted score from the previous criteria that was shared, the geographical representation and the facility type representation. And that's how they selected their demonstration projects. The next page shows all the demonstration projects, and there's a chart at the bottom that indicates a list of some of those, and Gates County and Gatesville, the Main Street bike lane was the one that they selected to take a further look at. The next page shows photos of the recommended improvements. There's a before shot of the resurfaced road. Then there's option A and B. The option A shows 2 bike lanes without any on-street parking. And option B shows on-street parking and accommodation of the bikers. These are only recommendations. Keep in mind throughout this manual or plan, it would have to take action by the county and the municipalities that are involved. The next page goes into policies and programs. We have the infrastructure recommendations, but now to further span the bicycling throughout the region, they had to come up with some policies and programs to share with bicyclists and citizens. And we do that through education, encouragement, enforcement, and evaluation. There's a logo there, Watch for Me and See. The Bike and Ped Division in Raleigh with DOT have developed a lot of bumper stickers and pamphlets for education that DOT has that can share with the counties and municipalities and any bicycle groups. The next page further goes into the policy and programs. I'm not going to go over this in detail, but each location, based on their land use, have a tabular format, and there's several pages that makes recommendations on how to better accommodate the bicyclists through education and other programs. And it's, like I said, it's like 3 or 4 pages that discuss this in detail. So it's kind of tabulated to fit each county and each region. The next page is a flow chart that represents how this plan can succeed and move forward. There's lots of entities and organizations that are involved in succeeding with this plan. The Albemarle RPO, that as soon as they get a replacement for Steve, they'll be working towards getting some of these projects funded. Your local staff, your county managers, planners, city planners, advocacy groups, your health departments, and DOT are all people and organizations that will play a role in this plan moving forward. The next page further discusses the implementation. It has action steps to move forward, and there's several pages of this as well. This is just an excerpt from the plan on who the tasks, who's the lead agency, and pretty much who's responsible for carrying out those tasks. And then not exactly lastly, but the appendices are at the end of the manual, and it has a summary of the programs and the plan. It has a detail of the public input, detailed design guidelines. It also has indication on what type of funding sources are available for the recommendations, and prioritization tables. That there's a prioritization for each county based on the recommendations. Next steps, regional and municipality adoption. We're 2/3 of the way through on that. And what we're seeking, well, what the Albemarle RPO is seeking is adoption from every county and municipality represented in the plan, and to do so by passing a resolution in support of the plan. Implementation, it will be ongoing. Signage guidelines and overall map of the area is being developed currently by the consultant. And lastly, if y'all have any questions, I would be glad to answer them if I can.
Funding. What is
Funding. That, I'm pretty sure y'all are aware that DOT is currently going through new funding prioritization. It's called Strategic Mobility Investment. The bike, bicycle paths and pedestrian walkways is going to come out of, there's different levels, and I can come back and talk more in depth about that if y'all like, about the formula, but it's funding at a statewide level, a regional level, and a division level. The statewide level is data-driven, it's 100%, and those are your U.S. routes. The regional is going to be your NC routes, and there's other lists of projects that are potential too, but the bicycle facilities and the pedestrian facilities are going to come out of the division pot. And that is 50% criteria is quantitative, and 50% from the locals. So 25% of that would be from the division, and 25% of the point assignment would be from the RPO. So the RPOs are going to play a major role in projects moving forward at a regional level and a division level. So I encourage y'all to stay in contact and attend the RPO meetings right now. We're all going through the selection process on what new projects are going to be submitted. The division, the DOT division does that as well as the RPOs. So bend the ear to the RPO if y'all have any projects that you're interested in having.
I don't want to get off target, but because you brought it up, I was looking at an email last week about priority, and in the top 8, I saw 3 Gates County projects in that. And I was wondering if that was some shakeup or something, and they were over 2 over in Sunbury area. That's about 2 weeks ago. That's one of the things I wanted to talk about next week.
There is a list of projects that are currently on the, in the TIP, the Transportation Improvement Program, and there are several projects in Gates County, mainly the 158 projects. They are not yet prioritized. They won't.
They're not, are they funded?
No.
Okay. But I thought it was interesting that they were, I didn't see any dates on them, but the fact that they were up at the top of the list, and I'll talk to you about that later.
And they qualify for statewide funding. So, and just to add a little bit, if you have a project, you meaning DOT and the RPOs, because they're the ones that contribute to the point assignment. If you have a project in the statewide level that is not competing statewide, because you have to compete across the whole state, the municipalities, and one of the primary, one the major criteria listed that has to be met is congestion in the statewide. So it's going to be hard to compete in statewide. So it will go down to your regional level, and we're paired with Division 4 in that region. So that's Rocky Mount. So and congestion is a part of that criteria as well. But it cascades down. If you can't get funded statewide, you go to regional. If you can't get funded in regional, you go to division. Division will get an average of $34 million per year for 5 years. $34 million doesn't go very far when you talk about these major projects. So
I'm curious how a bike project like this could get priority. Well, can it get priority now?
Well, and I don't have everything in front of me, I'm basing it on memory, but we're going through it's called a normalization project where you're comparing apples to oranges. So the highway projects are competing with the transit projects and the railroad projects and bike and ped projects and airport projects. So there is a percentage of projects that have to be funded for the bike and ped. I think it ranges from 6 to 4% of the total funding, which that's a whole separate prioritization process. It's not the same, it's complicated. It's not the same criteria as you would have for a highway. They have very specific criteria. But they go through a different funding process. It's federal funding, but any funding for the bike and ped that would get other areas would be deducted from our $34 million. Say we got federal money for a bike and ped down Mill Pond Road. Well, whatever that is, whatever that amount is, they deduct that from the $34 million. So it's not an extra pot of money. It has to be yeah, it's just coming from somewhere else. But I can come back and if y'all like sometime to speak on the mobility formula. Not a problem. It's pretty detailed and complicated.
Well,
Yeah.
all right, looks like we need a motion to direct the county manager to provide a resolution to adopt this Albemarle Regional Bicycle Plan. Seems like something good. It's good for the county. I think it's health-wise, recreational. It's just something that's going to be add quality of life, and I certainly support it. So with no other comments, we need a motion to direct the county manager to provide a resolution to for the board to approve that plan.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make the motion.
All right, it's the motion, may I have a second?
Second.
All right, motion is second. All in favor, aye? Aye. All opposed, nay. County manager, will provide the resolution for us.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate the presentation.
Thank you.
And we wish Steve all the best.
Yeah, I did too. I'm gonna miss him.
All right. Okay, next item on the agenda would be item 6, public hearing to apply for the CDBG.
I think we have a first.
I'm sorry, Janice White, EIC.
I'm not Ms. White. I'm going to present for her tonight. Good evening. My name is June Britt. I'm the case manager for community development, community services block grant under EIC. And we sent you a package which Raleigh requires that we send our county commissioners our grant package for the year 2014 and 2015. I pray that y'all did receive it. And in there is a submission form that we need you to send back to us, please. Okay. Ms. White is our block grant director, and Ms. Doris James is our executive director. And I want to thank you all for allowing me to come and just present a summary of our CSBG poverty work plan for the upcoming year 2014 and 2015. We are also required to hold public hearings in all 10 of our counties, and we serve Region R. Do I need to name all of those for you? Oh, okay. And Gates was held on November 11, 2013 at 10 a.m. in the EIC office. We have to complete a need assessment for the low-income people. We had to name the project, which is Family Opportunities to Self-Sufficiency. We have to have a tripartite board of 15 members, which Mr. Robert Williams represents the county commissioners of this area, okay, on our board. Our purposes and goals are to provide assistance and resources for the reduction of poverty, the empowerment of low-income individuals or families toward becoming self-sufficient, the revitalization of low-income communities. In order to enroll in our program, families or individuals must meet the income guidelines that are set forth by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services Division of Social Services. They must want to become self-sufficient, set goals, and work toward accomplishing them. We do provide some supportive services for our customers, such as rental deposits, utilities, fuel, transportation, daycare, tuition, book scholarship payments. My caseload for Gates for the year 2013-2014 has been 7. We just received additional funds, so the funding for 2014 to 2015 year is $462,122. In your package, that amount is going to be different because, like I said, we just received this. So this is the correct amount, $462,122.
From what area, ma'am? I'm sorry.
Beg pardon?
That amount of money is to be distributed over what?
10 counties.
10 counties, okay.
10 counties.
All right.
The project will provide the opportunity for 95 low-income families, individuals to become self-sufficient through the provision of the comprehensive support and self-help. And we are monitored at least once a year by Raleigh. Are there any questions?
Okay, who do you work with? Department of Social Services. How do you publicize the availability and the opportunity that EIC provides? Is it through agency, BSS, or?
And word of mouth, usually it comes from a client that we've helped, and they will, since BSS do make referrals to us, we try to get our brochures out to everybody, churches, just any place we can, and then we have a list of all 10 of our counties and who the contact person is. So it is a lot of referrals.
So the EIC, they don't have any, you're not out looking for clients, we'll say. But
Yes, sir, we recruit.
You do recruit?
Yes, we do recruit.
So, well, your brochure would
It helps.
refer some of that.
Mhm.
Okay, I've seen your brochure.
Okay.
All right, anyone else? Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, now we have public hearing, item 6. It was CDBG intent to apply for grants. I believe. John, expound on that. I thought I had information on it, but I don't.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Before CDBG funds can be applied for in the 2013 CDBG cycle, we have to publicize notice of our intent to apply and hold a public hearing to receive people's comments, residents' comments, public comments on that intent. This isn't a project yet. It is the intent to apply for a future project in the 2013 grant cycle. So this opens up the ability when the grant call is made, that grant funds are available for us to apply. There would be a separate public hearing, a separate action by the board authorizing that application. But this just puts everyone on notice, including the folks at the CDBG grant office, that we may be applying, that we intend to apply when and if grant funds become available. It also gives the public time to let their feelings be heard, to think about projects, to let them know that we're looking at projects, and if there are any eligible projects for them to be brought forward at this time, so that we can make appropriate provisions for the public's input into that process. Again, it's not a specific project, it is just a precursor notice to let everyone know that we're looking into this in the 2013 grant cycle of CDBG funds.
Is there a deadline on the application date?
Funds have not been released yet. There are no application dates yet. This is all precursor preparing to apply, if you will.
John, do you know how much this is going to be worth? We've been receiving before, I think it was $400,000 each year, and I was wondering if it was going to be the same if we get it.
Commissioner Jernigan, no, sir, I do not. I'm not aware of what it will be. This is, again, a precursor to the actual application that will have to occur in the spring once the grant call is made by the grant agency.
All right, we do need to prepare to apply. I think the public hearing has been advertised in the paper.
Yes, sir, it has.
Okay. And we'll need a motion to enter the public hearing.
So moved.
All right, motion, we need a second.
Second.
All right, motion second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed, nay. All right, we're now in public hearing. The county does intend to apply for a CDBG, I believe we call it a scatter site home grant, where up to 4 homes are replaced in the county based on income qualifications and age and so forth. And now, if the public has any comments, we'll receive those comments. All right. Hearing none, we're going to entertain a motion to come out of public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed, nay. All right, we'll just have it so noted in the minutes that a public hearing was held for the intent to apply. I don't think we need a motion on anything.
No, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, will the housing authority participate in the process?
The housing committee generally provide names of applicants that they have received requests from. They've been pre-screened as far as income, disability, age, and so forth, and they will provide those names to our project coordinator, and they would not be the only names, but certainly they do give names that they're aware of.
Thank you.
appointments to the boards. And we're looking at our agenda package. We have a number of vacancies as a result of Commissioner Horr's demise. And the first one, Commissioner Horror held the membership on the Albemarle Regional Solid Waste Management Authority, and we need to make that replacement. Normally, we ask for volunteers. We don't get volunteers, we make a nomination. Do we have any volunteers?
Mr. Chairman, before Mr. Felton volunteers, I'd like to say that the list that we've been looking at, all of those were filled, those seats were filled by Commissioner Hoare. Is that correct?
Those three positions, exactly, yes. The first three. And I mean, we can, we'll open it up for nomination discussions. And if someone wants to take all three, I don't think there's no contest on that. We all serve on big commissions and boards.
And I think some of these do not meet frequently, a couple of these.
That's true. Some of them may be biannually or quarterly, is that right?
I believe of the three, the social services is the only one that has a regular meeting. PCG and solid waste is usually only at the adoption of the budget time, and it pretty much runs itself through the PCG landfill board. The county managers meet a lot more about solid waste and garbage than the board does itself to resolve issues at the convenient sites as they arise.
Mr. Chairman, I'll volunteer to do the best I can.
All right.
Is that for all three?
All three.
All three.
Thank you,
All
sir.
right.
I make a motion to
Accept.
All right, there's been a motion to appoint Commissioner Felton for all three. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right, motion second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed, nay. All right, we thank you very much. The last one, or the next one, excuse me. The Albemarle Commission. My appointment, you can serve 2 terms, and we have to have a commissioner on that board. I have served 2 consecutive terms and no longer can, by the bylaws, cannot serve another term until I miss one, or a term rather. And I would, again, we can open up for a volunteer. I think we talked about this one.
Are they meeting and when?
They meet monthly, every third Thursday.
I'll take one for the team,
All right.
because I'm there anyway with the
Workforce.
workforce
Workforce
consortium.
development. Okay. Mr. Hopper's volunteered. Do we have a motion to?
Motion that we accept her to serve on that board, Mr. Chairman.
All right.
I'll second that.
There's motion second. Mr. Hopper will take that appointment. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed, nay. All right, the next one is an at-large member, where the commissioners appoint someone from the county. Wesley Boone has served in the past. And do we have applications for that? And he's willing to serve again, if it's the board's pleasure.
If Mr. Boone is willing to serve, I would say this, I would,
We don't have any other applicants.
We have none.
I make a motion that we approve Mr. Boone for an all term.
Second.
There's a motion second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed, nay. All right.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, there is a late arriving matter, the nomination for appointment to the Gates County Nursing Home Community Advisory Committee. And you have that at each of your places from Mrs. Faye Smith.
All right, the nursing home is one that we have to appoint someone as well to serve on that committee. I think Julia Hathaway.
Mr. Chairman, I see a strong recommendation letter here before us, and I move that we accept Ms. Virgilia Hathaway as a fifth member of that committee.
I second.
All right, there's a motion second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. All right, please. That takes us back to our citizen comments. Do you have any? None? Okay, you don't have any. All right, the last item would be our commissioner comments.
Let's start with our new commissioner, sir.
All right. All right, Mr. Belton. Mr. Belton.
Well, my only comment is that this is a very interesting journey in my life that I have begun, and I look forward to working with all of you and all the citizens of the county also. And it is in case anyone doesn't realize it, it is a learning process. And I thank you for the opportunity.
Going down the line.
Yes.
I thank you all for coming tonight. Tonight was a relatively short meeting in terms of some of our meetings, so we do appreciate you coming. We welcome Mr. Felton, and we will enjoy working with him, I'm sure. And as we go through in the next weeks and months, a lot of issues are going to come before us. We certainly like to hear from you. If you have a concern, please let us know. Thank you for coming.
I'd like to thank everybody that came tonight and stayed. And mostly familiar faces, and one or two new faces I hadn't seen before. But we certainly welcome you and wish you to come back. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. Gretchen, it was good to have you. A lot of times when we have presentations on projects such as yours, it's somebody from outside the county. It's good to see a Gates County girl come and bring a presentation before us. We won't meet again before Thanksgiving. Have a great Thanksgiving.
All right, thank you all. I thank everyone for coming tonight and sharing your time and thoughts and input. And I wish you a great Thanksgiving as well. All right, nothing else? We will entertain a motion to go into closed session.
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. All right, thanks.
Stretch.
All right, we need to entertain a motion to come out of closed session.
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion second, come out of closed session, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. All right, we need a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chairman, before we do that, just like Linda said, I've had a couple that come to me too. Two little things I wanted to bring up and just get your feelings on. One is a very simple little thing. We have a very short little road behind our church, and we have 3 little children that play on that play on that road, riding bicycles and running back and forth across the road too now, because they have also bought the property opposite the road, opposite the church across the road, and they have a horse. But anyway, this person asked me if we could get a children playing sign on that road.
Well, I think we could certainly contact NCDOT. Gretchen was here earlier, and let her know the situation and see if they can work something out.
It's on the Yule Baptist Church Road.
Your Baptist Church.
And I had one other item too. Someone contacted me on something that Renee spoke on here the other day. I think it's all concerning the same thing. audit on a business. And this was Tar Heel Restaurant. And we talked earlier about supplying grants to get new businesses. We surely don't want to hurt the businesses that are here. And in that audit, it came out that she was responsible for 8 years of back taxes plus a 60% penalty. Now, I don't know anything about this program to speak on it, but I just wanted to bring it up and see if anyone else did.
Okay, tax department comes under us, and I guess as the chairman, I need to get a little more information on that. I'll consult with Mr. Geddes and see what the content of that audit was, and we can all take a look at it and see what.
Well, her where she was coming from, if she owed taxes, she didn't mind paying them, but this is something she didn't know about, and to have a 60% penalty on top of it.
So you may want to make a note of that as well. So, all right, we can talk about that as a board, get the information. I think the way that the process works is that they look for discoveries. If there's new equipment, there's a formula where they can go back and tackle so many years based on the number of years you've had it. I don't know. We need to look at it and see.
But you know, she has changed the back room to a spa, so that might make a difference. You know, it was just a meeting room.
What created the discovery?
Yes.
Well, and the thing about it is, you know, when we said it's the equalization review, many times we make adjustments because sometimes they may be a little too high. And so we may want to look at this and see if, you know, there's some adjustments can be made as well. All right.
But I think there's a process for her to appeal.
I'm sure there is.
That's
Because
true.
we've had some, I mean, that Mrs. McGinnis has brought before us.
Okay.
Now I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right.
I second that motion.
Motion second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed, nay.